Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamson Entertainment. And welcome to the conversation. Just before we get started, there are many ways you can help. You can like and subscribe so you never miss a conversation. But most importantly, please share this video. Get the word out there as a community. We can talk about all the things that we love. Today on Throwback Thursday, we're looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I know in the first Turtles movie I mentioned that this would be the good, the bad, and the ugly. This movie does have its problems, but it's not nearly as bad as I remembered. Maybe because a lot of childhood memories are flooding forward and how much I enjoyed it as a kid. But this is the weaker of the three. Once again, the cast has been switched. Some come back, and some are just replaced for whatever reason. So for the turtle voices, Corey Feldman comes back as Donatello, but Raphael is switched out again with Tim Keller. Splinter is now played by James Murray, and for the guys in the suit from the last movie, they're all replaced except for Leonardo. So Raphael is now Matt Hill, Donatello is Jim Raposa, and Michelangelo is David Fraser. Elias Coates comes back as Casey Jones, and in addition to the previous cast, we also have Stuart Wilson, Sab Simono, Vivian Wu, Aiden Hunze, sorry for mispronouncing that, John Aylward, and Travis A. Moon. Just so I don't completely trash this movie, there are good parts to it. The opening, for instance, starts out with text saying Japan 1603. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say that this movie is not historically accurate. There might be snippets of historical accuracy in here, like there were samurai in Japan 1603, but I have no idea if the conflict that's in this movie has any truth to it at all. Maybe something like it happened, I don't know. But the opening is really cool. You have the red sun rising, and you just see silhouettes on horseback riding into frame and out of frame. And then there's a really cool beach scene of the same pursuit. Unfortunately, that's like the only cool part of the movie. In this one, you could really just pop in by itself and just watch it as a standalone, because the only continuity it brings over from the other movies is the new turtle hideout. I don't know why this movie doesn't have a subtitle like Turtles Back in Time. There's this Jamson that they give very little explanation of how it works. Donnie just figures out that it turns on like every 12 hours so long as someone's holding the scepter, and there has to be mass displacement. The person holding it has to be the same weight as another person, and then they switch places in time. The only problem with that is they don't hold true to that at all. First person to get switched out is Kenshin with April. No. He easily has 20 pounds on her. Easily. And the clothing. Sure, the shirt and the jacket that she's wearing, he could easily fit into, but they could have had a joke about the pants. The pants would have been tight on him. Then you have the turtles going back. Arguably, because they switch out with samurai, the weights are similar, but I'd still disagree with that. Their turtles are easily twice as heavy as any man in samurai armor. They have to be. They're giant turtles. And the turtles, when they go, are on horseback. That means that the men that come to the future should have been in some kind of a sitting position and fallen on their butts. But no, they come into the future standing, holding the scepter. And there's no real reason for them to be all holding the scepter because they're in a battle when this happens. One of the bad guys is Lord Norinaga, and he believes the scepter has powers that will help him in battle. The only ones to know about the time travel thing are the turtles, because they see it happen before their eyes and they look into it. And that's why it's at the battlefield. But, I mean, they don't really talk about this Jamson. You have to kind of put the pieces together for yourself. Like, Norinaga told them, if you hold the scepter, you'll destroy the enemy. That's the only explanation I can come up with, is why these samurai are holding it on horseback. I mean, they're on horseback. They're kind of useless on horseback because I don't think any of them have bows. I can't remember. But getting 4 guys to hold one scepter on horseback has got to be very difficult, especially in motion. As I mentioned, Elias Coates comes back as Casey Jones, but he's also playing another role in the past. He doesn't get displaced. He plays babysitter to the four samurai, well, five samurai, because Kenshin's the son of Norinaga. Briefly to go over the plot, Kenshin is in love with a rebel leader, Mitsu. They don't go into explanation of why they're fighting other than just a power struggle. Easy enough to follow. So the person Elias is playing in the past is Wit. And when he's playing Wit, he's just kind of like a plot device. He's just there so that things can happen and the turtles can react to it. Or just to advance the plot. They need a reason for the turtles to get captured. Yeah, ultimately he's not a nice guy. They haphazardly have an arc for him. This movie comes across very much paint by numbers. It's like, oh, we need this color in there, and this color in there, and this color in there, and we got ourselves a movie. Yeah, sure, but it's missing the heart from the first one, kind of the second one, and this one goes full camp. Second one's really campy, but this one it's about as camp can get. Instead of the Turtles dialogue being like 50% just puns and cliches and just bad dialogue, it's like 80% that. And speaking of the Turtles, I don't know if the first and the second movie use the same suits. And a couple reasons why you can think of why they need new suits for this movie is wear and tear, and aside from Mark Casso, they need to resize the suits. But this is the first movie where you look at the Turtles and you're like, it's so obvious that they're fake. And I think the reason for that is they're lit more than they were in the first two movies, especially the first one. They look like real turtles. Now, I know if you go watch all the movies, you can see all the seams, I think in a couple of scenes in the first one, when the turtles are talking, you can see the actor's eyes inside the suit. So there are flaws like that throughout the movies, but it still felt like in the first one, like they were real turtles. And Splinter was pretty convincing too. This Splinter is like, it's an obvious puppet. It's way more robotic than the other Splinter. Now, again, wear and tear could be the reason why they have a new puppet. I don't know. But in general, the effects go way down. Everything just looks fake. Like, they went to Party City and grabbed the generic costumes for samurai and for 16th century sailors. Because the other bad guy, Walker, is in just a really goofy outfit. They either had him roll in the dirt with it for a little bit, or they just threw it on the ground and beat it up. Walker factors into the movie because he is an arms dealer. He's just in it for the money, and he figures the daimyo, I believe that's how you say it, sorry for mispronounce it, but Norinaga, he's a daimyo, he's a lord. He's got the money, and so that's why he's selling the weapons to him. There's nothing really in it for Walker if he sells or tries to help out the rebels. But he's just a generic bad guy. And once again, the fight choreography goes down a few notches. I probably could have come up with better fight choreography. Maybe it's just a nostalgia goggles, but I still kind of have a soft spot in my heart for this movie. Not nearly as cringe as I remembered watching it last time as an adult, but this is the most kids movie out of the three. And that's not a bad thing. It just would have been really cool if they kept up the same level of awesome from the first movie through all the three movies. Those are my thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.